in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Thursday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin County. Anthony Hartwig, joined by Ty Bartell. As we continue on this last week of June, it is the last day of June. And to answer our theme song's question, we are not on our own today because we have a special guest joining us at the top of the show. It is Olindo Pizzone from Prospects 18U and Struthers, and he is gracious enough to join us today. Olindo, thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Olindo, I mean, there's no doubt you've been one of the most consistent bats on this Prospects team, and you guys were the recipient of another nice win last night against the Red Hot Nightline team. What's been the secret to you keeping the course the whole season and just having the success that you've had through and through?
I just try to have a good mental approach to everything. So, like, when I don't do something good, I think, like, oh, I can get it next time, because if I if I dwell on the bad stuff, I mean, I'm never going to get better.
Has that been something that you have had to work on throughout your career, or have you always been the kind of guy that just kind of lets stuff go as soon as it happens?
I've started to, do that more recently because in the past, I let it get to me, but, we learn and develop through the years, so we're better now.
Compare your high school season to this summer league season over at Bobseen Park. What are some similarities and differences you notice in the way the game is played and how it's approached?
There's better competition down at the scene because everyone's like on a team. They're trying to do good to get to the playoffs, and it's just like a better competition overall. You get to see more arms, more bats. It's really nice down there.
How much does that competition help you grow yourself as a player?
It's helped me grow because I mean, it in high school, you can get away with throwing a slider and hit it, somebody will swing and miss, but down at scene, they'll hit it if you put it up. So you always got to be on your A game down there.
I want to talk about being on your A game when you're inside that household too. We know at the competition level too, and Nicolina being in the house as well. I mean, it's got to be through the roof. What's family game night like, and who's the most competitive in the household?
I think we're both pretty competitive because we don't really put ourselves up against each other. We just try to do our own thing, and then we show each other our achievements, and we're both proud of each other. So I mean, it all works out in the end.
Who wins during family game night?
I would say I do most of the time.
Is there a family game that you guys like to play?
Well, we played Monopoly before, a few times, and I've always won. So they always say I cheat, but I don't.
I don't know how you cheat at Monopoly.
Knowing the athletics that go through the Pizzone family, do you see it as an opportunity for you to kind of carry that tradition and carry that family name into the next generation?
Oh, of course, I plan to keep playing baseball. Just keep it going.
Perfect segue to let you talk about your future plans and the things that you have going on after high school. We know you made some decisions, and we don't want to take that time away from you. So why don't you let everyone know where you'll be playing in your future of baseball?
I plan to play at YSU, Youngstown State University.
What kind of things went into that decision, and what made it so easy to pick YSU and land at Youngstown State?
I really like the coaches. Like the coaches really got me hooked. Shane Davis, he's a really good coach. He got me good in there, you know. So
When
yeah, I'm proud of the coaches and what they plan to do in the future.
when you look at your future baseball career and see that you're still going to be representing this area, feel like a sense of pride, I guess, in knowing that you're going to continue representing the 330 even when you go into your college years?
Oh, of course, very proud. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah.
You're not just going to be an athlete at YSU, you'll also be taking classes and being a student. What kind of things did you want to study, and what kind of things do you hope to build your career in after baseball?
I plan to go into business, probably business communications or business finance. Build my career around that.
You look at all those calculating of numbers, and your numbers have been great throughout your baseball career. What are some of the biggest hits that you've had in your career, whether that's distance wise or coming up in the clutch? What are some big hits you've had in your baseball career?
Probably, well, getting a walk-off win for my team in high school, that was pretty nice. Yeah, get to see all the boys happy and proud. So it's good.
What's your proudest achievement? It could be on the baseball field, it could be in the classroom, it could be anything that you've done in your high school career. But what is like the thing that you look back on and you're the most proud that you were able to do?
Well, it's actually probably like the mental approach and getting like developed through the game. Because last season I think was my most developed season because I learned so much in a short period of time, and I think it really helped me. It'll set me up for the future. So
What's a hangout spot or something only Struthers Wildcats alums and Wildcat representatives know? Like, what's something you got to be in the know within the Struthers community?
well, I see a lot of people like to go to the high school parking lot, you know, just to mess around and stuff.
We
There's
know
always
that
a lot of
the
cars there.
we know that the Struthers Fieldhouse is known for its concession stand, and I'm sure you've taken in some games at the Struthers Fieldhouse. What's your favorite thing to get at the concession stands in Struthers?
Probably popcorn, you know.
It's
It's
always that's I feel like
yeah.
that's the staple answer too.
uh,
That's the concession stands too, but we already know ball players, especially after big wins, like to have big meals as well too. So what's kind of
mhm.
your go-to meal, whether that be fast food joint or a home cooked meal? What's that meal like for you?
Probably Chick-fil-A, you know.
All right,
I
yeah,
like
we got to go with the order then. What are we getting as the order at Chick-fil-A?
probably either like a 24-piece nugget and mac and cheese or 2 chicken sandwiches.
Do you just do the nuggets dry, or you use sauces with them?
Oh yeah, use ketchup.
Ketchup as the sauce too.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting too. You don't mess around with the Chick-fil-A sauce too much.
No, fortunately not.
Where do you rank the waffle fries as far as fast food fries go?
They're pretty up there. I mean, they could be a little better, more flavorful, but you know,
Who's got your number one?
I'd say Mission Barbecue has some pretty good fries.
There
So.
you go.
That's one of the first we've heard of, but I like that kind of answer too. It's
Mhm.
right there. Also talking about it too, we talked about the field house, but Bobstein Park, this isn't something that you're a stranger to being in Bobstein Park and playing in
Mhm.
Bobstein Park. How awesome is it to have the experience of playing in this park throughout your entire baseball career and having just such great people keeping that ballpark up to date?
Well, the community is awesome. You know, you get a lot of people you know around here, and then you just get to play and ball out with them. So it's really fun.
And you don't have to go too far to get to Scene Park, but I know there are players in this Class B baseball that do travel to get to the park. What's it mean to you to know that in Struthers, Ohio, there's a baseball field that people are willing to travel 2.5 hours to play in every night?
I hear people all the time saying they have to travel 2 hours, and I think that's actually really like I mean that's dedication. You know, they put a lot of work into that, and then they drive 2 hours there and 2 hours back. So I mean that's a lot of time.
Would you drive 2 hours to get to Bob Scene Park every night? Is it that special of a place to you?
Oh yeah, it's really special. Yeah, definitely would.
Also, looking at the community too, and it being housed in Struthers, we know that Wildcat community gets up for all kinds of sporting events. What can you speak on being an athlete for the Struthers Wildcat community about the community support for you guys?
Oh, it's amazing. Everyone's really wholesome, and you get a lot of fans from Struthers down at the games, and it's just an overall really good environment.
All right, so I want to get to know you a little bit off the field too. So I want to ask the schoolwork and then the work you put in Struthers High School. What's some of your favorite subjects, and who are some teachers in the school system that really impacted you in your journey?
I would say I would say science is probably my favorite, or science or English. English is up there too. Um, and a teacher, Mr. Matsey, he's a really good impact on me. He always tries to keep me on the same lane down, even for baseball, because he went to YSU too. So it's a really good teacher.
What's something you like to collect? A hobby that you like to collect? Some collectibles that you have in your room?
I would say I used to collect baseball cards when I was little, but I kind of, you know, opted out of that sooner.
Do you still have that collection, or did you kind of sell it when you opted out of it
Oh, I still have them. Yeah, they're stored away somewhere.
somewhere?
Yeah.
What about looking at just overall your baseball career too, and just some of the advice you've received from coaches? What is some of the best advice you've ever received that you still use to this day?
I would say keep your mind open. Like after you get a loss, just go on to the next one, because there's going to be so many at bats. There's going to be so many catches. Like you can't dwell on the past. You have to move on.
We've talked about fast food. I want to keep the unhealthy food in the scope. What about desserts? What kind of desserts get your sweet tooth going?
Desserts, I'd probably say ice cream. Ice cream's one of my favorites.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Cookies and cream is one of my favorite.
And then I mean you got to go to who makes the best ice cream.
Handles makes really good ice cream.
Yep, and their cookies and cream is right there among the best.
What's an item in your room with the coolest story?
I would probably say well, I have some trophies like in the back of my room. I would say they all hold a really good bit of interest, because I mean I've all worked my life to get those, and they mean a lot to me. So I'd probably say those.
What do you do for fun outside of baseball?
I like to work out, and I like to draw too.
What
Drawing's
is
one of-
what is your worst day? What is the day? Is leg day your worst day, or do you think there's a worse day to focus on?
Well, actually, legs is my favorite day.
Oh, there you go.
What's your least favorite then? Because everyone's got to have a least favorite on that.
Least favorite, I'd probably say chest day. I don't
So
know.
when you look at your workout routine, what kind of things do you like to do while you work out? Are you someone that likes to listen to music? Are you someone that likes to silence? Do you like to work out with people, alone? What's your workout routine?
I like to work out with music. It's probably one of my things that motivates me. So
What's your workout playlist look like?
I have a lot of like songs that get me in my like mood, and then you gotta have that certain mindset when you work out, and then it goes from there. So like I don't like to have any distractions, and music helps me keep away from that. So
What is one song that can get you in that mood no matter what you're doing or what the time of day is?
one song I like to listen to, actually, like old Tupac music,
Yeah, oh,
remixes too of that. So
that's
gets me in
awesome.
the mood.
What's one of the funniest stories of your childhood where you were caught red-handed with something, like kid in the cookie jar or something? I know I got caught taking snacks when I wasn't supposed to all the time too. So what's one of those funny things you got caught in the moment with?
Honestly, I really I don't think I have one, because
He's a good kid.
I mean that I remember, I really don't know, because it's a long time ago, and I don't really remember a lot from that. So
I think Lindy would attest to that as well, though. And
Yeah,
he's
probably.
not like me trying to snag snacks when I was a kid.
What about the childhood and playing sports and playing baseball? What are some things that made you fall in love with the sport as a kid?
There's so many ways to do different things. Like there's so many forms and styles to like batting, and it really like got my attention, because there's so many players around the world too, and there's so much competition, and it's like so much different than any other sport I've ever played.
How much backyard baseball did you play growing up?
Played a lot of like wiffle ball too. I mean, that was a big part. Just having fun with the boys.
If we were going to have a YSN wiffle ball league, a couple of players, whether players you played against or players that were on your team, who do you think you would have to have as teammates?
Probably Alec or Zib, and then Chance Lasco.
We all know
teammates.
you're talented on the baseball field, but what are some things that you're good at that most people don't know you're good at?
I can draw pretty well. I mean, that's one of the things I've been doing for a while, and it's just one of my hobbies I like.
What's your favorite kind of thing to draw? Are you someone that likes to draw people? You like to draw landscapes, designs?
I would say landscapes, and sometimes I like to draw I'll look off the screen and then draw like a realistic person. I mean, realistic. Yeah.
Is there one drawing that you're really proud of? Like it took you a while to do, and you look at it and say, "Man, I really killed that one."
Yeah, I drew something. I drew it was like a soldier or whatever when I was like a freshman. It was kind of like realistic, so I was proud of that.
I gotta ask before we go though, because we were talking about backyard baseball. Have you ever went up against your sister as she's pitching? Have you ever gotten in the box against her?
No, I don't think. I mean, I don't think she was allowed because I hit the ball too hard. But
Look at that, throwing some shade. I love it. Let's end with the final question before we get to your support system. We get to you thanking your support system. You talk about the landscapes you draw, and I mean you play on a beautiful park at Bob's Scene. But outside of Bob's Scene Park, you can't choose that as an answer. What's one of your favorite baseball fields that you've gotten an opportunity to play on?
probably the Hoover Met was the Met down there in Alabama. It's pretty nice. It's
The
one my
home of the SEC tournament, I believe.
Yeah.
I love those kind of fields with the fields have some awesome backdrops. Like the major leagues always have like the cities and everything, but like minor league ballparks and even like your college ballparks, all those, they have some really awesome backdrops in the outfield. That's what I really love seeing.
Yeah.
Linda, before we let you go, I do want to give you a chance to thank your support system and the people that are always there for you.
I would like to thank my family, my friends, everyone who's helped me get here.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to continuing our coverage of you in the Class B baseball for the rest of the summer. And then you get to YSU. We're proud partners with YSU baseball. So we'll be covering you for a while. And we look forward to it. We'll also look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lindo Pizzone bringing us a great guest and a great interview on ysnlive.com. Running Point brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. And that's a great way to start a show, Ty.
I mean, the prospects too, recipients of a big win last night, and Alindo's having a great season as well, batting over 300 and just staying the course. I mean, he's been consistently hitting all year long with the prospects, batting close to the top of the order every single time out. And I mean, he's a graduation year too in 2023. So you got one more year with Struthers going into his senior year. And I mean, the ceiling's still super high for him too. We already know what that Pizzone name is capable of.
Oh, we definitely know. And one of the things that it's a perfect segue because we talked to a kid from Prospects, and the Prospects got the win last night. We'll go right into our recaps. Ty, Prospects get that win over. All these scores are mixing up on me. I have to go checking getting the win over Nightline 5-2. When you're doing everything, all these graphics, all the scores kind of mix up. So I had to double check, but yeah, the win over Nightline 5-2. This is a Nightline team that was on a tear, going from 8th place to 4th place and trying to kind of, manage their way into the standings. And Prospects, they knocked a monkey wrench into that whole plan. You're muted, Ty.
You're right. It's always that cam. Every time I click off of it, it goes to a different mic. But yeah, Prospects and Nightline last night. Nightline grabbed an early 1-0 lead. Prospects quickly with a run in the third and the top of the fourth. They grabbed a 2-1 lead. And it looked like in the bottom of the sixth, when Nightline tied the game up at 2, we were going to see the same course where Nightline has been doing to a lot of teams, where they come back late in a game and they secure it late in a game with a win. But wasn't the case, and something got lit under the Prospects in that top of the 7th inning, a 3 spot that gave them a 5-2 lead, 11 hits all in all for the Prospects on the night. No errors defensively. Of course, Olindo Pizzona was a recipient of one of those 11 hits. Gino Lazzaria, another guy we've had a chance to talk to. Hey,
3
what
for
do you
3.
know? Yeah,
Perfect on the night.
what do you know? The guy that's one of the best batters in the entire state that came up with another big 3-hit performance too. And what a win for the Prospects! And we talked about this game. There's no easy wins in this league,
No, and
and Nightline found out that's just the case with the Prospects.
remember when we were talking about Nightline's schedule ahead, they had 2 games out of their last, I think now 4, that were against teams that were above them in the standings. They had to take care of business against teams that were below them. They didn't, and now their job is going to be a little bit harder if they want to keep that 4 spot.
And both, it seems like every time these two teams, Nightline and Prospects, square up, one pitcher on one side has a really good game. Last time it was Ronnie Harper. We'll have a chance to actually talk to him a little bit later today. But last night for Prospects, it was Matt Ross. Went 7 innings, 6 hits allowed, 2 earned runs the entire night, 8 strikeouts for him as well. So some great pitching. He had great defense backing him up. Went the complete game on that. And, I mean, great pitching performance. Got a huge win over a red-hot Nightline team.
Despite the loss, Nightline didn't pitch bad either. I think, if I remember correctly, only 2 of those runs were earned.
It was really that one error that Nightline had. It looks like that gave Prospects a big boost as far as the runs were concerned. You're right, Anthony. 2 runs were earned by Gavin Trum and 2 by Papagallo. One of them came unearned of the 4 runs. But
no, Papagallo gave up 2 runs on 8 hits, and he lasted
6 and a
2
third.
thirds innings, struck out 8 himself. So, I mean, that's a good outing. That's what you want from your pitcher. He kept them in the game. Unfortunately, like you said, that one error kind of opened the floodgates for Prospects, and they were able to take the lead in the top of the 7th and then not give it up in the bottom half.
And with 6 hits and 1 walk, I mean, only 7 base runners, that's a whip of 1 on the day for Matt Mraz on the other side. And I'll tell you what, when you have a whip of 1, you're doing something right.
A whip. Cool whip.
Yeah, you're a dork. Get out of here. No, but we talk about Ronnie Harper. He'll be coming on at 12:30 from Nightline as well.
That wasn't the only big late score that helped out a team. The Avalanche got the win 6-3 over Whiting. It was 3-1 Avalanche in the going into the bottom of the 6th. They scored 3 in the bottom of the 6th, which ended up being the difference because Whiting came up and scored 2 in the top of the 7th to make it 6-3. Those would have been the game-tying runs had Avalanche not scored 3 in the bottom of the 6th, and the Avalanche do get that win 6-3 over Whiting. A big win for Avalanche, especially because Nightline picked up the loss.
That's huge for Avalanche. And another great pitching performance. We saw Jared Boyer this time, 6 2/3, allowed 3 runs, only 2 of them earned. He walked 4, but how about this? 13 strikeouts.
13 strikeouts. I will take that strikeout to walk ratio.
13 Ks, you're doing some serious work. That means a lot of guys aren't putting the ball in play. They can't be productive with their outs, and it's a lot harder to get guys to move over.
That's more than 3 strikeouts per 1 walk. So I will take that ratio any day of the week.
And you also look at it, he only gave up 3 hits too. So if you're walking guys, yeah, that it can hurt you sometimes, but not in this case. It's 7 guys reach base. His whip again is going to be just over 1 because he's 1/3 inning shy.
His whip
of the 7. He pitched through 106 pitches too, and the walks will do that. But 13 Ks, something to marvel at for sure.
Another reason that Athletics win is so good and so monumentous for them. Hey, Ballistic, they took care of Creekside, 12-2. They put a thumping on one of the best teams in the 18U division, and it wasn't close from the start.
There's something just with Creekside right now. They're going through something as batters, and it's like everyone's on a cold streak at once at the worst time of the season, but that's baseball, and that's just what happens. And it's coming at the worst times. And like Bobseen Park is, these are all great teams. So it's like sharks smelling blood in the water. They're gonna attack.
I like that.
They're gonna attack a team too. And you see the Ballistic Shark as well, right? It's sharks smelling blood in the water. So they can sense when a team is down, and they took complete advantage of that with the offense that Ballistic had. They had 3 really big innings. Bottom of the 4th, a 4 spot. Bottom of the 5th, a 3 spot. Bottom of the 6th, a 5 spot. I mean, that's consistent offense, 3 straight innings, and it just feels like you're just being flooded with offense, and you really can't stop it in time.
When the Sharks smell blood, their eyes roll black. And I feel like I'm just getting there are a couple of players that we cover in baseball that I can just see their eyes just going black when they smell blood in the water. I think Gavin Trump even talked about having those last 3 innings in the state championship game a year ago, and he just blacked out. Like, he doesn't even remember the last 3 innings. I think his eyes kind of went black like a shark because he smelled some blood.
Let's shout out to Brady Harman. 4 for 4 day, 3 runs scored in an RBI. When you go 4 for 4, that's a very tough accomplishment too. 4 hits in a ball game. Certainly a great performance for him offensively.
It was a great performance for everybody offensively for Ballistic. I believe the RBIs outside of his were pretty well spread apart. The most productive bat for the Ballistic lineup was Colton Schaefer. He went 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs. So maybe not a 4 for 4 day, but he knocked in 4 runs. Like you said, Harmon went 4 for 4. He had 3 runs scored and an RBI.
The biggest thing is, too, Schaefer, your 3-hole hitter, Harmon's your cleanup hitter, so that's middle of the order, getting it done. I mean, if you look at it, too, I think Schaefer had 2 hits, excuse me. I mean, that's in 7 at-bats. You're 6 for 7 with 5 RBIs. That's doing work in the middle of the order.
Nick Marola went 2 for 3. Tyler Mack went 2 for 3 as well. They both had an RBI. And then Will Morrow had went 2 for 3 with a run scored and RBI. He also got the win on the mound. Pitched 5 2/3, gave up 1 earned run, 5 hits, struck out 6. So not only did Will Morrow pitch well, he also hit pretty well for Ballistic as well. And that's been Ballistic's bugaboo. When they do struggle, it's been their pitching. And Will Morrow was solid on the mound for them last night.
No doubt. And I mean, 5 2/3 innings, I mean, doing the work. But how about that, too? 16 hits for Ballistic, and only the leadoff guy, the only one held without a hit, but he had an RBI on a sac fly, so still productive. I mean, the rest of the guys following suit with hits, and a lot of guys with multiple hits. As a matter of fact, I think 5 guys with multiple hit days. A very productive offensive day for Ballistic, and now it's not the first time we've seen them go ballistic on offense either.
Some other scores from 18U action last night. Dura Edge, they smited Eagleware 18-3. And then you had the Astro Falcons, a close competitive game, but they still pulled it out 5-1 over Athletics.
Yeah, and that's a nice game for Athletics, just to kind of be competitive with one of the best in the area too. And I mean, another great pitching performance from Astro. But hey, you got to shout out to Elijah Botter and Clay Mitchell for Athletics, both pitching a very good combined performance, 3 innings apiece against a very red-hot Astro lineup, actually only holding them to 6 hits on the day, but the 5 walks that they used, Astro knows how to be productive with their outs as well, so they were able to scratch across 5 runs on the day. But hey, you're holding Astro to 6 hits. That's a good day pitching performance-wise against Astro.
This is a Falcons team that knows how to score. They have multiple double-digit scores. I would wager probably the most double-digit scoring games in the Class B 18U division. Obviously, maybe during a commercial break, Ty could go and do some research and see if that's true. But I would imagine a lot of double-digit scoring days for Astro Falcons. But yeah, holding them to 5. No moral victories. Of course, everyone wants to win, but it's still a productive day at the office for those pitchers. The Avalanche stayed alive in the 14U Championship Series. Ty, they beat the Astro Falcons last night, 5-2. They're down 2-1 in the series, so they extended to a game 4.
They're saying there's a chance, right?
They watched some tape of the 2016 World Series.
Yeah, they probably did too. They probably
or for Cleveland fans, they watched some tape of the 2017 finals, right? 17
finals. But I mean, that wouldn't make much sense to watch basketball.
I know, but I didn't want people to think I was just trying to throw shade at Cleveland.
I thought you were just trying to throw shade at
me. I did yesterday. I'm not trying to just do that today. It was just the first blown series that popped in my mind.
But no, I mean that's not nonetheless. It's a big win for them. They get back and
watch the the 2012 wild card game between the Colts and Chiefs. There you go. I'll throw some shade on myself.
We don't need
We're going to be joined by someone who doesn't need any shade. He's all light all the time, and it is Ron Harper from Nightline 18U. And Ron, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
No, thank you for the invitation.
Ron, I mean, let's just first and foremost talk about your pitching performance with Nightline this season. You are just tearing it up in a league full of so many talented hitters. What's the key to success, man? And what's been working for you down there?
Well, for me, I'm an off-speed pitcher, so my main pitch I like to throw is a curveball, and my fastball. It's not the fastest, but like it's a good enough speed to where like I like to keep the hitter guessing. Like, and mainly I like to work outside. Sometimes like I throw mainly my 3 pitches or my 4-seam, curveball, my slider. My slider, I throw it once in a while. It's like one of them pitches where I throw like once an inning to surprise a batter. Usually I like to come inside with that. But usually my fastball and curve I like to keep on the outside corner of the plate, and that's where I get most hitters looking on that.
And that's not a full scouting report because Ron doesn't want to give away all of his tricks and all of his schemes for all the batters that might be listening out there from Class B trying to get an edge. This is a Nightline team that really started a little bit slow, but then has really kicked it into high gear. What were some conversations that the team had in that middle of the season to really get them on this win streak?
So our head coach, Tom Otto, talked about like how we really have to pull ourselves together. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, we have to do it ourselves. And we realized that, and we decided when the bats started becoming more alive, our defense has been phenomenal lately. Pitching has been very solid. And yeah, just basically it's overall like what it has produced for us.
It's really been an uptick since the middle of June, and I mean, there's direct correlation. You had a start on the 17th and the 22nd, back-to-back games. You go 7 innings pitched. You only give up 1 run in both games to combined, and only 5 hits. You were the stopper that kind of stopped the losing streak. You got them on the winning streak. How did you take that onto the mound and kind of carry that flag and say, all right, we're going to do this, and be able to have that longevity back-to-back games?
Well, basically, when I go on the mound, I see it as like I just like I see it as I give my team the best opportunity to win. That's what I feel like I've been doing for the past 2-3 starts, and my team's defense has always been there to back me up. Like in my first start, when I threw the shutout against Prospects, Madden Bame, the center fielder, had to throw out a runner out at home that helped save my shutout. So defense really helps, and the offense has also been alive too to like help like. You can, even though like the games are low scoring for the opposing team, our team, we usually have like 5-6 runs every time too, which also helps the cause.
As your shirt advertises, you're coming to us from Pennsylvania to come play in Ohio for Class B. Have you noticed any differences in styles between the Ohio players and the Pennsylvania players that you play in high school?
Yeah, there's some different stuff. They're a little bit different. Like I'd say the Ohio more like, what's to say, like, they're not scared to take more chances. I should say, like they're just like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of weird.
How has going up against that different style made you better as a player?
I see it as like it makes me feel like a better person. Like just like overall, like deciphering like how I should pitch and competition. I mean, the competition on both sides are insane. Like they're insanely good. I mean, I just try my best to keep batters off balance and try my best to get weak contact at the plate.
You talked about being an off-speed pitcher, but I mean, you still are registering 30 strikeouts in 22 and a third innings. You're averaging over a strikeout an inning, so you still get your Ks. How do you work the strikeouts too, not having maybe the fastest stuff too, but still being able to work it with your off-speed stuff and with control?
So basically what I do is like I change eye level. Like usually I'll do this, like I'll start someone off with a curveball. Then I go for a fastball outside for the outside corner. Maybe rather throw like a fastball high and then go curveball low to change the eye level, or go in and out like slider inside and then curveball outside, catch the corner on like a 1-2 pitch and go for the strikeout. That's what I've been doing.
What's your favorite pitch to throw?
Curveball.
How
quick.
How long did it take for you to develop your curveball? Because I mean, I've seen it too, and I've seen it live. And if you haven't, you need to. It has wicked movement. How long did it take for you to develop that, and what went into the developing of that?
Well, I've been going to my pitching coach, Matthew DeSalvo. I'm pretty sure he coaches at the scene too. He's helped me for 5 years now with my curveball. It first started off like very loopy, but then like the past 2 years, it's becoming more sharp and very. It's like a 12-6. It mainly has great downward action, and yeah, just basically it took so much practice of mechanics and just throwing it a lot really helps.
Do you think it was the hardest pitch for you to develop, or is there another pitch that holds that mantle?
Um, it's weird. Like my hardest pitch to throw for me is my changeup because like when it's on, I really like it, but like it's very hard to keep consistent. But like my 12-6 curveball, the problem with it is sometimes like if it's off, it's really off because it only drops. So it's rather going to be like really gross and drops a lot, or it's going to just stay hanging. And as the saying goes, you hang and we bang them, and once in a while that will happen.
In saying that too, I mean, we know that this is a game of failure. You go through your highs, not as often as you go through lows sometimes too. When you go through those lows and you go through those slumps, maybe the pitches are hanging. What are you telling yourself to keep your composure up? And like you always say, go out and get that next one and be able to be that stopper again.
That's basically what I tell myself. I mean, you can't let the past decipher your future. You have to move on. You have to like make the adjustment. Like if your curveball was high or something, you could tell yourself, okay, maybe I dropped my arm. Let me try keeping my elbow up, or maybe I just didn't finish to pitch it on. Let me try this and then see what happens, and then keep like making the adjustments.
In the same frame of questioning but about trying to get through slumps, what's the biggest form of adversity you've had to face in your career, and how did you get past it?
I had a week in my high school year where my curveball, my main pitch, was not good at all. And so basically, I went to Matt, my pitching coach, for advice because I was even confused on what I was doing wrong. And he told me what I was doing wrong. And what I was doing wrong was when I threw my curveball, my middle finger wasn't getting on the bottom of the ball. Therefore, it had zero, like not the greatest break. But then he told me to start doing that, and then it started breaking like normal again. And I was on track for the rest of the year.
As being one of the senior pitchers too for one of these teams, what is, as a bit of advice, I guess, for younger players, how important is it to kind of keep the course too if you're not seeing direct success as a pitcher?
Oh, it's very important. You just want to stay on course. You want to have that mentality of just like keep batters off balance, or say like you just can't let something get in your head of just, hey, like I'm gonna be mad the whole game. Like you can't say that to yourself. You just have to move on from it and just focus on what's next.
DJ Oakley giving you some high praise. Our CEO says that even if he tells you what's coming, you're still not going to be able to hit it. Maybe that's why Ron is so comfortable with giving up a little bit of his scouting report. And he also gives a shout out to your pitching coach, who has made so many other great pitchers in his coaching career. I want to go into that a little bit. You've talked a couple of times about how you went to him when you were struggling with stuff. Obviously, it's a bond, it's a relationship that you have, it's a trust you have. How important has that been to your baseball career, having someone like that you can go to any situation and he can help you out whatever you're struggling with?
So basically, Matt, he's probably the number one person for pitching that if I've never met him, I don't think I would be the pitcher I am today. I mean, I'm basically his prodigy. Like I'm a person that he's taught. I'm his pure mechanics. I'm just everything. He's taught me everything, like 95% of things I've learned about pitching. And I'm just overall just so grateful that like I've known him for these many years and he's helped me so much.
We've heard, like in sports especially too, that there's ways that you can improve yourself in a sport by not doing that actual sport. Like for instance, football players sometimes will take in part in wrestling or ballet to help with balance during the season. Baseball players with golf too find that it helps with some of their swing mechanics. Is there anything like that you found too that's not maybe baseball related but has helped you in your baseball career outside of the sport?
For me, it's kind of weird. Like basketball, like shooting, like it helps with like release points. Like that could help too for like pitching maybe. That's for my personal experience.
I think you're onto something there with that for sure too, because with the different release points too. How so you're saying like the way you would take your release points on your shots, you can directly correlate that with the release points on your pitches.
Yeah.
All right, if you could play any other sport, try it. Try any other sport. What sport are you looking at to say I want to kind of try to get into this?
Oh God. I would say if I had to pick one, I would say basketball because I'm very tall, lengthy. I can get a lot of rebounds, and I'm actually somewhat of a shooter, so that's good.
What would be your biggest asset in basketball? You think? You think it'd be the post moves? You think it'd be your jump shot? What do you got going on?
I don't know. I told the basketball coaches if I ever play basketball, I'll be the guy who get you rebounds, and I can make a three if you need it.
he's Rodman out there too. He's just grabbing boards. Looking at all the success that you've had in your baseball career, and you can go in high school, you can go at Teen Park. What are some of the most proudest achievements, I guess, as far as success stories that you've had in your career?
Just overall, I'm always the guy. Like my goal is every year for high school, I always tell myself I want a low ERA, not as much hits. But like for me, I just love weak contact. Like I will always tell people this. I would rather have a 2-pitch at bat where a guy grounds out to like a third baseman or shortstop than like a 5-pitch strikeout, because then you just throw way less pitches and that helps you go throughout the whole game.
So it looks like you're joining us from your room. It does. I don't want to assume, but I want to ask on a scale of 1 to 10, how clean would you say your room is right now?
I'm an honest man. It's honestly like a 5. I should really clean it, honestly.
How much do your parents get on you for cleaning your room?
Every day. They say, Ron, are you gonna clean your room? I say, honestly, probably not.
What's an item in that room too that has a cool background or the coolest story behind it?
Honestly, nothing. My room isn't that cool. It's just your average room. It has a bed, nice AC.
You don't keep no collectibles or nothing. It's a bed. It's like my prison house too. Yeah. It's my prison.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to say the coolest thing in my room, probably my PS5. That's solid.
What do you
get your
game on with that?
Obviously, the show.
What's your team or what's your go-to with it?
My go-to is just honestly like the prospect cards this year. The program, I've been grinding that lately. I would honestly probably smoke both of you in the show, honestly.
Oh.
He's
Okay.
throwing down the challenge.
Okay.
I'm not even doubting it. But I think there's a lot of people that play the show, and I think we should definitely do a players tournament.
I think what Ron Harper is trying to say is that if there was a YSN MLB The Show tournament, he would definitely be winning it.
Oh, 100% would be. Everybody sucks at it.
He's got this. Look at him. Confidence, dude, through the roof. I love it. I mean, when you have that kind of, you have to have that kind of supreme confidence, though, to keep that consistency on the mound. What is some of the best advice, I guess, that you've received from a coach, from parents, from anyone, I guess, throughout your life that really helps you when you're in a tight pinch on that mound or when you need to get through tough spots on the mound?
Man, like, let me tell you, sometimes my coach would tell me to throw strikes, and that really gets me sometimes. Like, I just sit there and I stand and I'm like, you know what? He's right. I need to start throwing strikes. And I get back into it, throwing strikes, and then I'm good.
How many times do you hear throw strikes come out from the crowd and it just makes you bubble up?
I hear it at least once a game, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Thanks.
Oh man! And in your career too, and what you've experienced the high points, the low points, and you're on a roll right now. What's your advice to some of the little league players? Because we're seeing little league districts going on now too, especially in Ohio. What's some of your advice to little league players and having success in being just like Ron Harper when they grow up?
Having success. You don't want to be completely cocky. You don't want to be that guy who runs his mouth all the time, unless it's me playing the show. So basically, you just want to find that fine line between like cockiness and confidence, and just like be the middle and just like be yourself on the mound. Like, don't let anyone like force you to do anything. And for me personally, growing up, like I was never a guy who threw hard. For me, I always just learned control and like how to like just like set up batters for like weak contact. Like that's what I see it as. Like don't like rush. Like, you don't have to be throwing 85 your freshman year in order to get a start. Like, freshman year, I was throwing maybe 70. But then my sophomore year, I started throwing mid-70s. But I was so good with accuracy that I could just, like, get a lot of players out because, like, not many people, not a few high school students are only good at hitting outside pitches. So every time I would throw it outside, it would just be weak contact to the left side or just like a routine fly ball to right side. So that's my advice. Just mainly focus on control, spin rate, and all that.
And above all, throw strikes, right?
I was at the third strikes. I mean,
What about future goals that you have for yourself and where you kind of want to see yourself in a couple of years?
I want to see myself have a very good college. I want to be a math teacher when I grow up. So I want to be going to a college for North. I want to go for baseball too.
Is there any like preferred destinations that you'd have, or is it just kind of open book for you?
I'm looking at seeing Hill. I might think about like emailing the coach.
Hey man, get the name out there. You've been tearing it up too. I mean, just showcase what you're doing here on YSN as well.
Yeah.
What would be the best state to live in the United States right now?
Oh, Pennsylvania easily.
Oh,
He
he's
would-
got it.
he
He
would-
booked it, man.
You
He
would stay
booked
in PA for college, right? Like in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, but I'll definitely Ohio for gas prices. I'll get you on that. Like that's true. Gas prices in Ohio are a lot better than here.
What's one state you would never go to?
Like Wyoming. Like who lives in Wyoming?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to just kind of give shout outs to the people that are always in your corner.
Well, shout out to the whole Nightline team for backing me up and just being there for my like mental health and all that. And also, fun fact: when I first arrived at Scene Park, in the first 2 minutes, I got called an NPC by 2 people. If you don't know what an NPC is, it's a non-player character, aka I'm not a real person.
Yeah.
Hey, he acts pretty robotic on the mound, man. Your consistency is through the roof. I could see why some of the batters might be feeling that way. You keep tearing it up down there at Scene Park. Nightline's on the tear.
Shout out to Tom Ono, honestly, great guy, great advice, and I just love him he has a great personality.
Does that mean that you point him to the movie Free Guy and tell him that NPCs can be the hero?
I have before, yes.
Ronnie,
I'm still waiting for my first at bat.
Tearing it up too much on the mound, man. They don't want to risk it.
Yeah, I'm like the next Shohei Ohtani, basically.
I like it. Ronnie, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to our continued coverage of you throughout the Class B season this summer, and we'll look forward to talking to you again real soon.
All right, thank you. I hope we can do this again, and you better send me your PSN so I can smoke you both in the show.
We'll hit you up. We'll do it live on Running Point. How about that?
All right.
We'll get you.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
Man,
what an awesome guy. that was awesome too. I mean, you
kinda
talk
scared.
about. I mean, you talk about
I
person.
got the show.
One.
I got the show, and I have a PS4. I don't have a PS5. I'm not fancy.
I don't have. I have next generation, but I have Xbox. But we can definitely, I'm sure, work something out. I'm sure he's gonna smoke both of us anyway.
Oh God, yes.
He's probably smoking both of us anyway. But no, Ronnie Harper too. What a personality. And we talk about kids that can bring personalities. Like prime example of that. What a personality too. And that Pennsylvania, one of the best too. That if you haven't gotten a chance to see him, folks, there's plenty of footage of him on YSN. You got to see him live while you still can too. He's got some great stuff.
I use the show purely to pretend the Royals are good. Like, so I go on franchise mode, I win a season with the Royals, and I'm like, okay, that's okay. We're good in PS4 land, not good in real world.
And then you look at the real world and then cry.
Like, oh.
And then the head droops a little bit, and then it's all bad.
Got like 20 home runs for Salvador Perez, and then I look at the real world and see that he's on the IL and he has like 6 home runs. Thank you.
Doing what we can, right, Ant?
Doing what we can. We went over the Class B scores, and when we get back from this first break of the day, we'll go over what happened in the Little League Softball District Tournament last night, and we will also talk about some standings that we have after the 18U night And then we'll also talk a little bit about what we got going on tonight as well in Class B baseball. So don't miss a minute of it as we will return on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
Jimmy Sutton here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring PGA professionals, golf instruction, a players rewards club, kids programs, and a pro shop and grill room for a memorable golf experience. Call or click to schedule your tee time at Mill Creek Golf Course.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers. From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Now is the time to think about your future, where you want to go, what you want to be. Your future can start now at Kent State Salem or Kent State East Liverpool. We have programs that will open doors and provide opportunities for you to pursue your passion. We are affordable, we are close. You call it hometown, we call it Kent State University. Learn more at www.kent.edu/Columbiana. You belong here.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig here alongside Ty Bartell. Ty, we talked about Class B baseball last night, but we had some other stuff going on, a pretty exciting softball action in Little League District 2. As far as the district tournament goes, we had an elimination game between Poland and South Range, Ty, and this one was everything you hope for in an elimination game. Both teams did not want to go home one bit. It was a walk-off win for Poland as they won 8-7 in the bottom of the sixth inning. bouncing back from giving up 2 runs in the top of the 6th inning to make it, I believe it was 6-5. And then they came in, scored 2 runs, and made it 8-7. It was, I'm sorry, 7-5, 8-7. It was tied up at 5 going into the 6th. South Range scored 2 runs. Poland went back and scored 3 to make it 8-7 as the final score. Addison Freedy for South Range hit that inside the park home run, which was one of the coolest calls I've been able to have all season for the softball season. You don't get to call inside the park home runs too often. So when I saw her running and rounding third and coming home, and I at the time it was the go ahead run, first pitch of the inning. She just took it to right center, and then it rolled into the fence, and I was like, "Oh, here we go!" And she's so fast, she made it all the way around to home, and I get to check off a list. I get to call an inside the park home run, which you don't get. Like I said, you don't get to do too often in the sport of softball, especially when we cover so much high school softball. But Poland bounced back from that, and they came up with the 8-7 victory. It was a walk-off wild pitch. Giada DeSantis, who has been a tear and a monster in this district tournament, got the scoring game-winning run at the plate, and Poland advances to play Canfield tonight in another elimination game, and the winner will punch their ticket to meet Boardman in the championship series. Boardman got the win over Canfield last night, and it was 8-0 in 6 innings. They played all 6. Emma Davies, 13 strikeouts in the circle. Oh, man, she's good. Gotta keep an eye on this pitcher. 12U for Boardman. She's got speed. She's got some off speed that can really work well, and she works outside, inside, coming in both sides of the plate. She's a great pitcher. And then Taylor Watts on the offensive side. Yes, Watts. Yes, that name, that family. Cousin of Sydney Watts. Just doing some phenomenal things for Boardman. Addie Rudge is a great catcher, threw out a couple of runners. Actually, threw out one of the fastest base runners that I saw in Little League this year in Sydney Seipel for Canfield. She's a fast base runner, but Addie Rudge got to throw her out for Boardman. So all in all, very, very impressive talent-wise from this Little League district so far. I'm excited for tonight. One more go-around this week before we take the break for 4th of July, and one more ticket to be punched to get to the championship. It's Poland, it's Canfield, it's the Battle of 224. It's win or go home, and the winner gets to meet Boardman in the championship series on Tuesday.
Yeah, and I mean, so first and foremost, you're telling me South Range and Poland, that rivalry is going to be alive for years to come. It's not going anywhere. All right, that's fair. The Watts have another family member that's really good at softball. All right, that's fair too. That's
playing second base, made a diving catch at second too, so she's a good defender.
It's about on course too. That softball talent is where it should be. And then what was the last thing? Boardman is a really good softball team too. And I mean, AAC is usually one of the better ones. So yeah, I guess that's on par too. And it all starts with the youth levels, and that's what all these coaches will tell you. And this is why we see teams being as good as they are for years to come. And that's why we see girls like Sydney Watts coming up from these type of ranks into her freshman season and being as successful as she is. It's what the work that they do at these levels that really pays off come their high school seasons. And it's where a lot of talent is made at this level. And you could already see how well developed some of these softball players are already at such a young age.
In 10U, Richie Giuliano had the call as Poland continued to impress. They win 12-2 over Canfield to punch their ticket to the championship series against Austintown. That will not be an easy feat because Austintown has yet to give up a hit in this district tournament. So they'll have to go and play Austintown in the district championship. And because Poland's coming out of the losers bracket, they'll have to beat Austintown twice in 2 days.
So you're telling me Austintown's going to continue to have strong pitching for years to come?
I haven't been able to call those games. So I don't even know the name of the pitcher. Yeah. I've just heard Austintown hasn't given up a hit yet. So yeah, there's still some good pitching in Austintown.
So I mean, it's just like everything you're telling me is just like what we're hearing, like what's happening right now. But it's also what we've been hearing happening for years prior. And it just shows how these teams, now you kind of get the full blueprint, right, on how these teams are continuing to have and maintain success for long periods of time and have the longevity that they have had. And I mean, you see it in full display: Poland, South Range, Boardman, Austintown. I mean, all of it. I mean, youth levels, it's where it matters, and success at the youth levels you're seeing on full display now.
And these are names: Addie Rudge, Taylor Watts, Emma Davies for Boardman. You got Sophia Seipel for Canfield. You got for Poland, you have Madison Medvac and Giada DeSantis. You're going to be hearing these names in a couple of years for varsity level experience. I guarantee it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this is where we see a lot of talent for the next coming years for the high school level. This is where we see all of them get made at these kind of levels. And it's really nice that we got to have it on YSN. And we can look back when these kids do finally break into it and say, and you can look back and say, and you can finally have those sports reporter moments where you say, "I told you so. Told you she's going to make it into."
Here's Running Point. Boom! Like I told you, this girl is going to be good. Boom. And then I got one more night, because one more night in this week of Little League softball is it will be elimination night in 12U. Poland versus Canfield. Winner goes on to the championship series. Loser is eliminated. And it'll be a fun one. That's the only game on slate for Little League softball tonight. 10U's wrapped up until Tuesday. So we got one more game tomorrow. Winner goes on to play Tuesday against Boardman in the championship series. And the winner would have to beat Boardman twice. Boardman has locked in that they are one win away from the district championship.
So I got to ask, Ann, because I mean, you've called a number of high school softball games. You're an avid watcher of the college games. So now getting into the Little League games, is there any correlation that you see, or are you impressed at, I guess is a good question, from what you're seeing out of these Little League bats, these Little League arms too, that what you've seen from the varsity levels and the college level ranks?
The biggest thing I was impressed with in the games I've got to call this year with 12U, and even we did Little League softball last year too. So I got to call Emma Davies last year, and I got to call some of these other names last year. Addie Rudge was on the team I got to call last year. I love that pitchers are working both sides of the plate. Usually you'll see young pitchers kind of fall in love with one side, and they'll only be able to hit one spot of the zone. So the fact that Emma Davies and Madison Medvac for Poland pitches really well too. They can work in and out and up and down. They're really working the strike zone in the four corners. That's something that you don't see a lot. Well, you didn't used to see a lot in the youth level of softball. Like I said, you used to see girls either they're faster than average, so they just go right down the middle and say they're going to swing and miss, or they kind of fall in love with one side of the plate. They'll throw a lot of outside. But these pitchers are going in, out, up, down, and they can work you anywhere you need to work. Now, is their control still need to be a little bit fixed? Yeah, they're 12 years old. The grip of the ball isn't exactly strong yet. So yeah, there's going to be wild pitches. You're going to see those happen. But for the most part, the ability to work every part of the strike zone is really impressive. And as far as the hitting goes, 2-strike approaches from 12-year-olds is phenomenal. Like how many girls that I saw get down maybe 0-2 and work back them to a walk, or get down like 1-2 and foul a couple of pitches off and then get a base hit. 2-strike approaches for 12-year-old girls, better than some high school teams I've seen 2-strike approaches. You know, I feel like when you get older, I don't know, for some reason, you get 2 strikes and you don't shorten up. You don't take the ball to right field. You don't try to hit the ball opposite way. And these 12-year-olds, a lot of hits are going to right field if you're a righty, and a lot of hits are going to left field if you're a lefty with 2 strikes, which is a beautiful 2-strike approach. Shorten up your swing and take the ball where it's pitched.
In the book Outliers, The Story of Success by Malcolm Gladwell, there's the rule, the 10,000 hour rule, right? Where if you put 10,000 hours into something, you can kind of achieve, not necessarily perfection, but you can master a skill then, right? You can start saying you've mastered a skill. So I think doing these kind of things, like you said, actually working on being a pitcher inside, outside, up, down, having those kind of hours and all that time that you're working on that at such a young age, it's going to pay off so much more, because you're going to be way more advanced by the time you're in a high school rank. So like these high school pitchers now, by the time these high school pitchers are in their junior, senior year, they might be at the level of where we were seeing college freshmen maybe 15 years ago, because of just how strongly they've been put into youth levels in recent years too.
And I got to speak on this too. I think all these kids are getting coached by really good people that know what they're doing, because too many times in big youth softball tournaments, I see pitchers have at 12 years old, they'll try to throw 4 different pitches or something. It's not, like, I would rather a 12-year-old be really good at throwing one pitch, or maybe one secondary pitch. Why are we trying to teach them to throw a rise ball, a screwball, a curveball, and a fastball at 12 years old? Let's let them master one pitch and then move on to another. So, like, Davies has a fastball that she can move and she can put in different spots, and then a changeup. Like, that's perfect for a 12-year-old. That's all you need.
And then if she could develop maybe a rise ball, a screwball on top of that, as she gets older, that's perfect.
Right. Her fastball rises a little bit. I wouldn't call it a rise ball yet, because I don't think it breaks late. But, like, there's time for that. Like, she's got velocity. She's fine. She can move her fastball. Don't mess it up by trying to also, okay, let's go throw in a curveball now. You don't need to teach 12-year-olds 4 different pitches.
Yeah.
Until they master one. Like, you master one, then you move on. Too many pitching coaches at the youth level focus on quantity of pitches instead of quality of pitches, and you can see it transition into that pitcher as they go on. They're never quite great at one pitch, and then all of a sudden they start to get hit a little bit more when they're throwing fastballs down the middle in varsity.
And yeah, the 10,000 hour rule, yeah, it's absolutely great, and it does. But there's also the quote. I remember old coach of mine always telling me that practice is only good practice. You got to have good practice when you're practicing, something along those lines, right? You have good practice is practice, right? If it's not good practice, you're not practicing at all then. So
it's kind of the same, like, practice doesn't make perfect practice makes perfect.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there you go. You nailed down a good one. But yeah, essentially it means that you got to make sure that what you're doing and how you're doing it is worth your while as what you're doing. You can't just, and like you said, quantity over quality. You can't just go out there and say, all right, I'm going to throw 5 pitches now.
Right.
And try to figure it out. You got to try to make sure the quality of what you're doing too, and the quality of your practices and what you're focusing on with those 10,000 hours and trying to master this skill and master this craft. It needs to be the quality of the practice you put in too. You can't just say, all right, I worked on this for 4 hours today. There's 4 hours towards 10,000. You can't look at it like that. Obviously.
And I think the problem comes from watching the elite pitchers and then not doing the research and what into, like, they'll go watch the College World Series. They'll see, a Jordy Ball from Oklahoma have a rise ball, a drop ball, curve ball, screwball, changeup, and oh man, I got to get this kid to have that many pitches quicker. They're not going to develop themselves into a pitcher that can go into Division I softball. But you got to ask Jordy Ball, like, okay, how did you develop those pitches? I guarantee 3 of them probably were either developed her senior year of high school or when she got to Oklahoma. And they were like, okay, you have mastered these couple pitches. Let's start to work on you, because that's when you need those number of pitches, when you start to go up against college Division I level lineups. Like, okay, you need a drop ball and a rise ball and a curve ball and a screwball and
I tell you what, folks, you don't need, if you throw too many pitches at a young pitcher too, you can overwhelm them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, if you're doing the pitching motion at all, that muscle memory is going to serve a purpose. For these,
it's the same in baseball.
Throwing 1 or 2 pitches as opposed to 4 at a young age. It's just changing the grips a little bit, and that's a lot easier to adjust for the pitchers. It's getting that muscle memory down of the stride and getting that pitch out, the arm motion, your hip motion, just the motion of pitching, of going through that motion multiple times is going to help.
It's even more dangerous in baseball because there are some pitches that really strain your arm, and if you're teaching a kid that pitch at 12 years old, you're opening him up to a lot of arm problems. I'm not a pitching coach for baseball, but what is it, the curveball that you really contort your arm to throw?
It's almost like when you're throwing it, you're almost like throwing it at like a right angle. So it's not.
So teaching a young kid at 10 years old to throw a curveball and really put that wear and tear on their arm, it's like, what are we doing? he's fine with a fastball. You know?
especially when that's been a big factor, I think, especially in Little League, and especially just even we've seen it throughout Major League Baseball. They're just taking a bigger stance, I think, on pitch count and just making sure you take care of these pitchers' arms, because we've seen it. And not necessarily that there's a lot of injuries in baseball. Like, out of all the major sports, I think like baseball players get off pretty all right as far as injuries are concerned, but it is a lot of arm injuries for pitchers too. And that's where you're wanting to cut back on is those arm injuries and the Tommy John surgeries that need to happen. And it has to start with those youth levels, because you talk about exactly 10,000 hour rule. Well, when you're putting a bunch of those hours into developing a curveball, that's also putting wear and tear on your arm. That's pretty unnecessary wear and tear at the time of the age.
And another thing that I think helps at this level, in what I saw at the Little League the other day and the other couple of days last night and everything, they have very strict rules that they are very strict about following. And I know a lot of people will see that and be like, oh, they're being so tic-tacky and they're being so nitty-gritty about the smallest things that don't really matter. But I think having structure at this level and having the girls and the guys say, this is what our standard is, and you have to, adhere to these rules and you have to follow them. And if you don't, I think that's important to the development as well. Like, you got to have your shirts tucked in. There's no untucked shirts, even when you're warming up. Like, you got to have them in. The on deck hitters not allowed to have a bat. What I love, this is great. This is great for me. Only the coaches can coach you. So if the umpires are hearing the parents coach or seeing the parents do hand signals or anything like that, they will put a stop to it really quick, because coaches are meant to coach and parents are meant to cheer. So there was an instance last night where a parent was giving hand signals to the player, and the umpire said, we're not doing that. Your coach is coaching. And I love that personally, because I do not like sideline coaches from parents, in my opinion.
It's fair. It's fair too. And I mean, you gotta, especially when you're a part of a team too, you can't have other outliers that are affecting the game or affecting even like one piece of that team, because they can throw a whole team off. Right. It needs to be, to have that good team culture. It kind of needs to run through a facilitator. That facilitator is the coach and the coaching staffs, right? You're facilitating a team culture, and you're kind of organizing this team too, and letting them create the culture, but you're kind of facilitating and organizing it too. And sometimes when you have those kind of distractions from the outside, it can really cause a distraction, not only for that player, but for a whole team too, and really mess up what a team's trying to do.
How is a player supposed to grow up and respect what a coach is telling them if they've been constantly being told something different from the sidelines? Like, I want you to throw this pitch in this situation, but my dad over there says to throw a rise ball. Stuff like that stuff, it might sound little in a moment, but it builds and it builds and it builds. And then you never really trust a coach when you develop into a varsity level player or a college level player. And you got to have trust in your coach, or you're not going to be able to succeed.
You need to have trust in your coach, because it's also going to pay off big time if you want a future in the sport at the college level, because coaching staff look at that. How well do you listen to your coach? How do you respect your coach? How do you interact with your teammates too? And if you're kind of loose cannon doing that kind of stuff too, it's not going to pay off for you.
Subtle reminder: college coaches recruit the families as much as they recruit the players. So how you interact with your parents after a game, how you interact in the parking lot, I've seen many coaches say that they look at that as much as they look at what you do on the field. So, that's going to be important.
Absolutely important. Absolutely important.
What else is going to be important is that you stay right here and don't go anywhere as we take another break. When we come back on Running Point, we'll look at some standings for 18U after the results came in. We'll look at what we have on tap tonight for 16U Class B baseball and all that fun, more and more on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These 3 values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
We are Kent State in the Valley. Start and finish one of more than 25 bachelor's or associate degree programs, or start one of Kent State's 280 majors. With low tuition, public, and plenty of scholarship opportunities, we will help you maximize your education and minimize student debt. Enjoy the benefits of a smaller campus with all the opportunities of a large university. Save money, stay close to home. Apply today by visiting kent.edu/Trumbull.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealth.com. Good luck, athletes!
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Hello, welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as we continue our last show of the month of June. Ty, it is officially July tomorrow.
Yeah, and I mean, getting up into one of my personal favorite holidays of the year. 4th? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Perfect reminder that we will not have a show on July 4th.
Long weekend, little extended, tiny, not a 4-day weekend, 3-day weekend, little extended weekend.
We'll be off on that Monday. We look forward to enjoying our own 4th of July and helping all of you enjoy your own 4th of July as well. You shouldn't be listening to a podcast on the 4th of July. You should be out cooking hot dogs and bratwurst and brisket, and I don't know what you guys cook because I'm always in Kansas City. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, too, 4th of July is going to be silent on the entire network too. I don't believe we have any games.
Scrappers,
just
Scrappers
one.
play.
Yeah, we do have one Scrappers game, but I don't believe any Bobstein Park games or anything like that happening on the 4th.
I can confirm and or deny that. Let's see. Games
Unless they got added, because I didn't see anything added earlier, but we could have had them added too. We always know Quinn is working diligently on it, but I didn't see anything yet.
Nope, just the Scrappers. You're right.
Yep. And I
have
mean,
a really busy weekend.
The weekend is huge too, but we will have the Scrappers at 7:00 too. And you know what? Here's the thing too. If you're going to be watching fireworks, whether you light some off on your own too, or you go to see them somewhere, you're going to have Virgie Giuliano too, voicing the Scrappers in the background too, and you can keep up with the Scrappers as I believe they play State College for a series.
Or you could go to the Eastwood Field yourself and stay around for their fireworks.
Always. And that's the thing too. If you don't have many plans, ball games are always a great option on the 4th of July, especially nighttime. You know they're gonna do it up on the 4th of July too. They're gonna make sure they have a great firework display.
Okay, Ty, we went over the Class B results from last night. I know the standings got shaken up a little bit. How are they looking now? Because I know they have to be shaken up just a little bit with those losses from Nightline and the win from Avalanche and the loss to Creekside.
Yeah, so right now it's still Astro in first, Creekside is in second, Avalanche in third. Nightline holds fourth place. They're 12-11, but the big thing was Ballistics win gets them at 12-12 now, so they're only a half game back.
And that game will even itself out eventually.
It will. So Nightline still clinging on to that fourth spot. And then we know, I believe, top four make the tourney. So Nightline's still clinging on to it. And, of course, when we look at that schedule of Nightlines, too, this loss of the Prospects really makes things interesting going forward with a game against Eagleware next. They still have a game against Dura Edge, Astros, and Creekside to round things out. So 4 games left on the docket for them, and a very, very hungry Ballistic team that just came off a big win against Creekside that's hungry to get into the top 4 as well.
Yeah, and we said it yesterday. The second place is pretty much secured. I mean, Creekside would have to continue a monstrous downfall to get out of second place. I think they're still, 3.5 games up?
Yeah. And here's the thing, Ballistic only has those 3 games left. So they play Prospects, Astros, and Whiting in 3 games. So it's 4 games left for Nightline, where if they can win 1 game, then they can be a full game up on Ballistic. If they lose that extra game, it's a tie then for the next place. So kind of control your own destiny right now if you're Nightline. Also, what's interesting, though, is Dura Edge is sitting there at 11-12, and they're not far out, and they got to play Nightline still this season as well. And Dura Edge would love nothing more than to sneak into this tournament as well.
I'm interested in the schedule ahead for 18U.
You got Astros and Dura Edge tonight, which is going to be certainly a challenge or not tonight, for the next game on the docket, I should say, for Friday night. But the schedule ahead, yeah, you're going to have Avalanche and Athletics taking on each other. Nightline's going to go up against Eagleware, Prospects against Ballistic. Prospects coming off a big win against Nightline. Dura Edge takes on Astro, and then Whiting takes on Creekside.
When you look at those, what do you think is going to be the most important matchup?
I think, honestly, I think the Prospects game is one I'm going to be looking at. Prospects, Ballistics, just because Prospects is coming off of a nice win against Nightline, and Ballistics is coming off of a nice win against Creekside. So those 2 teams coming in with a lot of momentum in that one. But I gotta also say too, you gotta be paying attention to what these games are going on with Nightline, because Eagleware got their first win on the season not too long ago, and they showcased that they can certainly do it again in all divisions as well. They showed it in 16U when they got their first win, and in 18U they've gotten a handful of wins too. So they've not been strangers to throwing a wrench into things.
How about Avalanche Athletics is a sneaky good one and an important one too? And here's why. Avalanche is in third place right now, but only by a game and a half. And the difference between third and fourth is you have to play Astro Falcons in the first round of the playoffs. They want to hold on to that third place spot, especially the way Creekside is playing right now. So, they're down a game and a half, but they have a tough Athletics team coming up on Friday.
it's not out of the realm of possibility that Avalanche can fall out of these standings too. There's still teams that can take Avalanche's spot, and there's still games left on the schedule. And yeah, you're absolutely right. And where Athletics is sitting is at 11-13. They're kind of fighting. They're still in the hunt for it, but they would need this win. But they're still fighting for a spot.
Yeah, I mean, if they win, they're 12-13. You said that Ballistic is 12-12 and Nightline is 12-11. So if they get that win, they'd be right there. It's a big cluster right in the middle of that standings for 18U still.
All road games too for Avalanche. It's Athletics, then Prospects, and then Dura Edge, and it's a Dura Edge team that I tell you they're gonna be hungry because they're right there too. They're still in the hunt, and they aren't actually in a bad spot either. Currently sitting at 11-12. They're right behind Ballistic and Nightline by only a half game behind Nightline, a half game behind Ballistic. So Dura Edge.
Yeah.
They're in the hunt.
A Prospects team that has proven they can beat anybody last night.
Prospects, yeah, they've actually been impressive this whole season and what they've been able to do against some really good baseball teams as well, and they've cooled off quite a few teams this season.
So that's going to be real interesting as we once again are in the last week of the regular season for Class B, as it boils down to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for Class B. There are 5 games on Friday, 8 games to be had on Saturday, and then another 5 games on Sunday in the total of 18U. So 18 games left on the 18U slate, and they're in the next 3 days.
Yeah, we got a lot of them too. Yeah, loaded up for you, ready to go here.
And they'll all be on YSN.
Yes, sir, they will be.
So that's what's going on Friday. Let's look at what's going on tonight in Class B baseball, as it is 16U night at the ballpark. And the game schedule for tonight, Ty, like always, I'm going to have you read out who's where, and then I'll call out who's going to be there for YSN on the call.
Scene 1, it's going to be Whiting and Astros going at 5:30, and that's a huge game, followed by Avalanche and Eagleware at 8 o'clock.
Richie Giuliano will be on the doubleheader at Scene 1.
Scene 2, you got Nightline taking on Prospects at 5:30.
And then in Scene 2 at 8 o'clock, you're going to have Game 4 of the 14U Championship Series between Astro and Avalanche. Avalanche forced that game with a win last night against Astro Falcons 5-2. You will have a doubleheader on 2.
Made it a series.
Matt Mayer will be on the call for both of those games.
And then on Scene 3, you got Ballistic taking on Creekside at 5:30, followed by Athletics and Dura Edge at 8.
All right, that'll be Bob Zanny on the call for those games, as that's a doubleheader. When you're looking at the games tonight, Ty, and you just went over them, what's your most intriguing matchup?
It's Whiting and Astro, and I don't know how you can't say it's not. Both these teams 14-4. Both these teams currently leading right now their respective divisions. And I tell you what, it's Whiting that's holding on, but the Avalanche are 14-4 as well. Creekside's 12-6 behind them. They're trying to fight for that division. Astros locked it up, but they want to kind of hold that first place crown in all of 16U as well. This is a big game as both the leaders of the respective divisions go at it.
I'll take that, and I'll give you Athletics versus Dura Edge as another game that I'm going to be watching pretty closely tonight.
That's a fair one, too.
You have Athletics who, they've had a very competitive season. They're not bad. They're just in a bad conference. And then you have Dura Edge, who's right there in front of them. So it's 3 versus 4. It's going to be a competitive game. Both teams at 8-10, 6-12. So comparable with talent, and it should be a competitive and a fun baseball game, despite it not having much context in the standings.
My dark horse game, it's going to be Avalanche and Eagleware, though, because Eagleware got their first win of the season.
Right. Can they build that momentum?
They got it against Whiting, too. So their win came just a couple of days ago. Will they be able to build on that momentum?
How do you think Whiting bounces back from that? I mean, there's no rest for the weary. You got to bounce back quick, because here comes Astro Falcons.
But it's an opportunity for you to answer a bell and kind of right a wrong, right? Like, I mean,
would you say it's Whiting out or wrong?
Yeah, I guess you would say so, right? I mean, you lose to Eagleware, and like we said, it's not that Eagleware's had some bad breaks this season, but they didn't want to end the season with a goose egg in that win column. They wanted to make sure they got a win. It just happened to Whiting fell victim to Eagleware.
Someone was going to do it.
Yeah, someone was going to fall victim to it. Whiting did. How do you respond to it? You go right up against the other team that's leading their division. You have first place on the line for your division as well. Go out there and get a huge win, make a statement against one of the most respectable teams in Class B in the Astro Falcons.
That's the beautiful thing about this sport, Ty. There's always the next day, right? You always have, okay, I had a bad at bat, or I had a bad game. Let's come back tomorrow and do it. That can be beautiful, or it can be a nightmare, because as you know, if your mentality is not right, then all of a sudden that next day, oh geez, we're doing it again, and you just can't get out of this hole, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger.
If you don't have the right mentality against Astro, they can definitely make you spiral. They'll take advantage of mistakes. They're hyper aggressive. So this is the game where Whiting's going to have to bring it, and they're going to have to be ready, definitely, to face a giant.
With 3 teams in the 16U, all at 14-4. I guess you could say this is first place in the 16U division on the line, even though they're in split divisions. It'll be nice for whoever team comes out on top to put their flag and say that they were the best team in the division. I know that's important to them.
Not to mention, too, and there is currently a 9-game winning streak riding on this for Astro. So they are definitely...
They were 5-4. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. They have a 9-game winning streak riding into this game, and they want to get to double digits.
Remind me what happened the last time they played Whiting.
The last time, let me pull that up real quick on their respective schedule. Last time they played Whiting, it was a 12-2 loss on Scene 1 back on June 5th. That was the only time they lost a 2-game
interdivision teams twice. So this is their last crack at them, and the last time didn't go their way.
Astro does not want an 0-2 record hanging on their head. The big thing
Whiting lost 12-2, right? Or Whiting won.
No, this is Astro. Whiting beat Astro 12-2 last time out. But the big thing is too, Whiting is or Astro is the home team in this one against Whiting in Scene 1.
Those are 2 dramatically different teams. I mean, Whiting was hot back in the first weeks of June, and Astro is still trying to figure themselves out. Now it's the other way around. Astro's on some kind of tear, and Whiting, they've been able to keep their head above water. They're still in first place. They haven't been playing bad baseball, but they've shown a couple of chinks in their armor.
The funny thing is, too, the Whiting is kind of was a part of that little bit of a skid, that 3-game losing streak that Astro had to Creekside, Whiting, and Avalanche, respectively. Whiting contributed to that. Astro kind of wants to cleanse themselves of those demons and get revenge on those games earlier on.
Now, I don't know if they go and they decide what games are going to be on Scene 1 based on what the schedule is, or if they just have that all predetermined on what fields are going to be. But either way, how about this game popping up on the big stage too in Scene 1?
At 5:30 too. So directly after all the shows, go grab yourself something to eat for dinner and then get yourself set up. You got the voice of Richie Giuliano calling a huge game tonight in the 16th division.
I might have it on the tablet next to me as I'm calling games at Field of the Dreams.
It might be worth it, man. This is going to be a big one in standings, and come Friday we're going to have something to talk about. There's going to be a shakeup somewhere.
There's got to be, right? I mean, there's no other way around it. Someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. That means someone's going to take first place, especially in that Livy division, because there are 2 teams tied at 14-4.
And Eagleware has the chance to knock off Avalanche. And how about the fact that those 3 teams that Astro has lost to on the season all came from that?
Can you imagine if Eagleware their first 2 wins of the season came 1 and 2 in their division?
That'd be huge. That would be huge. And
Whiting would love it. Whiting would love it.
Astro lost that trio to that Livy division too. That was their 3-game losing streak to Avalanche, Creekside, and to Whiting, which are the 3 teams leading the Livy division respectively. They want to get back and get wins against every single one of them.
Right.
And you look at what they have already done. Yet they lost to Avalanche the one time, but they 1-1 with them on the season. Creekside on the season, they just beat them 12-11 in a close contest, but it was still 12-11. They're 1-1 with them. Astro does not like hanging goose eggs against teams in this.
No. That's not the Astro way.
So they're going to
like they're the Mandalorians of Class B baseball.
It's going to be it's going to be a fun game tonight. You're all going to want to tune in 5:30 completely free on the network tonight.
This is the way, and this is not the way. Other games on the network tonight, Ty, is just that softball game that we talked about a little bit earlier. It will be the elimination game in 12U between Poland and Canfield, and the winner gets to punch their ticket into the championship series, and the loser is eliminated. So a lot on the line in Field of Dreams for 12U softball as well.
And it's the rivalry extended, right? It's the Battle of 224 extended.
And if it lives up to the South Range Poland rivalry that we saw last night, this is going to be a heck of a game.
And we saw Poland and Canfield in elimination games prior to as well. There's been some great games that have been going on in all kinds of sports. And here's another example of it popping up.
This was the district championship at the varsity level. It was Poland versus Canfield. So.
I mean, it pops up here again, another elimination game. Poland
popped up last night in 10U. Poland took advantage of that one, and Canfield wants a little bit of a revenge in their 12U. A lot of storylines going into tonight. It's going to be really fun. Canfield wants a second crack at Boardman because I'm sure they feel like they didn't put their best foot forward last night, and if they win, they'll just go right back to play Boardman again. And Poland also wants their second chance at Boardman. They've been in this losers bracket for 2 straight days, because they lost to actually 3. This is their 3rd straight elimination game won. Poland has been backs against the wall since Tuesday. So they're looking for their 3rd straight losers bracket win, and it got put there by Boardman back on Monday. So both these teams kind of feel like they can do a little bit better against Boardman. They both want another chance and another shot at the proverbial throne.
Absolutely. But you got to get past this game to do it, right? And both these teams are throwing their best shot at it, and it's going to be a fun one. All the stakes on the line. It's an elimination game, win or go home.
I think I'm going to throw out, because I've seen both teams, I'm going to throw out some keys to both. For Poland, keep Sophia Seipel off the base pass, because she is a speed demon. She's going to cause a lot of havoc. She can probably steal second and steal third without you even blinking. For Canfield, don't let Gianna DeSantis come up with runners on base, because she's an RBI machine if she has the opportunity. So those are my 2 keys right there that I can come up at the top of my head, because those are the 2 players on both rosters that really, really stuck out to me in the last couple games.
We need the intro video for Ant's takes, or
Ant's takes.
The softball wizard.
Ant's keys to victory.
That would be really cool. And then it's like the chalkboard, and it's just drawing. All right, for Canfield,
wouldn't it be wild if I just went into that closet, whipped out a chalkboard? Where'd that come from? Well,
for Canfield, I'm looking at this. For Poland, here we go.
I don't know if any of you watch the Goldbergs, but one of the quips throughout the whole show, throughout the whole series, is that they just pull out chalkboards out of nowhere and they just whip out a chalkboard. Where'd that come from? So that's one of the things that you just see a chalkboard whip out of the closet. Where'd that come from? Well, it's time for Anthony's takes, and I'll tell you.
Oh man, no!
You're like Woody Page on Around the Horn that always has the chalkboard behind him with a different saying on every day.
That's gonna be you, except you're gonna be drawing on it too for takes.
So we'll go here and we'll go here, and you don't want to go here.
Just a big, it's like a softball drawing too, like a field, it's so you could draw plays. Just here's where I would shift players to for this particular.
When this girl's up, what you want to do is pitch her outside, and you want to pinch in the corners.
You have a strike zone here. You got the field right there.
These are her dead spots. You don't want to pitch her here. You want to pitch her there, right there. She struggles with the inside pitch, so you definitely want to do that.
You're telling head coaches this as they're on with us.
I can see it. Okay, coach. Let me walk you through this.
Let me walk you through what you need to do for everything. I have everything.
Can you imagine bringing on Coach Hour for volleyball and be like, Coach, this is what you need to do.
Here's how you need to set up the court.
I'm telling one of the best one of the best volleyball coaches in our area what she needs to do on the volleyball court.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, go contact Coach Weaver. Just be like, hey, Coach,
Hey, Coach, this is what we need to do.
Here's what we need to do. But no, I mean, Ant, you're obviously one of the great softball minds, so you see a lot of talent too. So I'll take your word for it, as you've gotten a chance to see these girls firsthand, and I know it's going to be a great matchup too. Anytime you say Poland Canfield in the same sentence, my eyes immediately turn to it.
When are you coming down with me, man?
We're eventually gonna make it down too. Got to find it in the other work schedule too.
Yeah, 2, maybe 3 more days left that you can make it down to a softball game at Field of Dreams.
Yeah, I know, and I've gotten a chance to see some of these kids too. And like I said, the home run derby is where I got the first.
Yes, I got to call Iris Murphy because she was in the elimination game.
Isn't she something? Her swing is something beautiful to witness too. She's got such
Every time she came to the plate, my heart stopped for Poland and it beat for Austintown. I was like, I don't know, you don't want to pitch to this girl. I've seen her mash on in that home run derby.
She's definitely a great swinger.
She didn't win it either, right? Someone else came from behind and won that.
Yeah. I mean, it was Cece Busico that ended up winning it too.
On that team too.
Yeah, so some great mashers on that team, and Austintown, they have a great youth league, just as Poland, Canfield, Boardman does. Those are some big names, and I mean that's exactly why you see continued success in those softball programs.
Unfortunately for them, they ran into Madison Medvac, who was just pitching lights out for Poland. Still did yesterday. Came in relief, shut down the South Range when they needed to.
So Poland's gonna get another good pitcher. You're telling So
I think there's a McDonald on the 10U team. I heard it on the PA system.
You like Scotty's trying to say like the bite is back. I don't think the bite ever left. I think they've just been steady gnawing.
The bite hasn't been gone since 2010.
They bit years ago, and they've just been gnawing every year since. It hasn't stopped. And that's exactly why they have great youth leagues too. So I'm not surprised that another great pitching prospect comes up in the Poland youth program.
They were a part of a program that went all the way to the College World Series, the Little League World Series back in the day. I think it's the 2013 Poland Little League team. I could be wrong on the year.
I imagine a Disney movie where like a little league team is just shutting down college teams in the College World Series.
Yeah, let's do it. Like, hey, if is it Rookie of the Year? Broken arm?
Yeah, where he has like the arm where he's just like he's throwing.
I was like, oh, I better pull out the right title, or I'm gonna get crucified on the comments. The Rookie of the Year, if they can make a movie like that, they can make a movie about a little league team that just like is uber talented.
That's what I immediately thought when you said you said the College World Series, and you said when this team goes to the College World Series, I just thought of like a Disney movie that would be made of that. Like
nobody take this idea now. It's mine. It's ours. We just patented it.
Anthony
I'm going to make this movie.
Anthony already has it, but
I got a camera in the closet of infinite stuff with a chalkboard, and we're gonna whip it out. We're gonna put together a screenplay, and we're gonna bring it to you.
Little League Poland has made its appearance in the Little League World Series, but I mean also Poland has won a state championship too at the varsity level in recent years as well. So I mean in recent memory too, within the last
been to a couple of state championships and they've won one. So
they're definitely a great program, and continued success it looks like for Poland coming up.
Oh, it's in all these programs, the Canfield, Austintown, Boardman, even South Range had players that I'm like, okay, here they come. This program's not losing.
They just like when Poland babies are born, do they just like have a dedicated like softball room that they just like immediately introduce them to? Because like it's either that or something is in the water that just makes Poland.
It's blue and it's got a bunch of Tennessee stuff. There's some Poland girls over there. So I'm just saying.
Man, Poland, they know how to make athletes too, especially on the girls side, man. Their girl sports are phenomenal.
And when they're put into the bed at the hospital, they give them a softball.
It's like a softball, a volleyball, a basketball, a bulldog. Tuck 'em in blue. There you go.
There you go.
that's every girl.
What are you doing? Well, we're breeding it for success, obviously.
It starts early. 10.
One of these balls is in a stick.
Oh man, it's something. I don't know what the secret is, but I
Champions down there was something in the water too. I think they should check on the irrigation system down in Champion because
they're definitely there's something in the water, but I don't know what it is. I definitely know that great coaching staffs and great parents and great kids have something to do with it though.
We had 2 champion players in that All-Star game, and it was a senior and a freshman. And I'm telling you that Addie Warzola is going to be a Division I catcher. There's no doubt in my mind. And then Maddie Jones, she's just an athlete. Like, oh my gosh, basketball, ball, it doesn't matter.
Mash. She's like, I'll mash.
Keep it up with the Joneses. Good luck.
Honestly. And then, another freshman that's doing work too in this area. I'm not surprised. Softball is going to get really fun here in the next 5 years, folks. It's going to, because you're just seeing the start of it. Wait until next year's class comes up, and the year after, it's only going to get better.
And I'm so excited. I got the paper chain going. Next season starts in 200 and some days. I haven't counted.
That'd be funny. It's just a paper chain that's just going across your.
I'm gonna have to do that for the next home show on Tuesday. I might have a paper chain.
I'd have to do it for basketball. That's what I just start tearing.
You don't have room for a paper chain. You got nothing but blank walls.
You're just gonna. That's gonna be.
Where are you gonna pin it to?
Walls. It's just paper chains for next basketball season.
Where are you gonna pin it to? Tape it to the wall? I mean, you got nothing to pin on.
I know. Pin the wall.
I don't know if that wall can. I don't know if that wall can take nails. It looks pretty. It looks pretty unsturdy.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever attempted to nail anything in these walls.
I feel like Ty would be like banging the nail in, and then all of a sudden the wall would just.
The trailer just goes. Well, all right, that's great.
Your wife's another. Ty, what was that? Nothing.
Why is the house at a 45-degree angle? Well, just tried to nail this piece of paper to the wall.
It was a paper chain. What did we say? No nails in this house.
Oh man, it's going to be exciting though. Tonight on the network, we're going to have you covered. We're going to have you covered honestly this whole weekend before we just take a slight break, with the exception of the Mahoning Valley Scrappers on 4th of July on Monday.
Slight break,
Slight break, a little bit, not completely dark on the network, but we will have Rich Giuliano getting you in the evening hour, but it'll give you plenty of time in the morning to go enjoy a cookout, go to a parade, maybe get yourself out to maybe a ball game. I don't know if anyone plays locally in the afternoon hour. Obviously, Scrappers play in the evening, but it gives yourself something to do in the morning hour too. Go out there and enjoy it.
If hopefully, no one's playing, then make a game yourself.
Hopefully, weather
football in the backyard.
Weather should be good, but we can check on our storm tracker to give you the weather ahead too for our 4th of July weekend.
Let's do it. Storm Tracker 21 app, our wonderful friends over there. I'll do my best Andrew DiPaolo impression, but it's not good. He's a professional. I am not. Whoa, looks like good weather. High today is 90, so if you're going out to a game at Scene or a Field of Dreams, make sure to keep yourself hydrated. At 4 o'clock, it's going to be 89. And at first pitch of that game at Bob Scene and first pitch of the softball, it's going to be 88 and sunny. So make sure you're keeping yourself protected. 92 tomorrow, 85 on Saturday, and then 86 on Sunday, all with sun in the forecast too.
It's gonna be quite a time too with this great weather.
You can see, there's this high pressure system coming in from the north.
I'm sorry, I got distracted too because I'm looking at. I was just watching this video too that I got tagged in by.
Watching videos during the show.
Amo just tagged me in a video of Sophia Gregory just getting absolute air and touching rim. So I saw that and I raised my eyebrows and I was like, well, all right, that's gonna be a problem.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hey, hold the phone.
So West Branch is
Where
definitely.
did we see this? Did we see it on Facebook?
I was gonna say we're gonna need to tag that in because Amo tagged me in it, and I raised my eyebrows the second I saw it because she absolutely got
okay,
airtime.
here we go. I see it.
So definitely shout out that. I was mentioning basketball season, so it gives me any excuse to talk about it. That's going to be a problem for the EBC to deal with because she is something tremendous. Had a phenomenal sophomore season. So putting in that work too, and it's that off-season work that we know for all sports that really is what matters prior to seasons.
She needs like a couple inches and she can dunk.
I know. She's good. I think she's gonna get there.
This is ridiculous.
For sure by senior year, I would think, but I think she can get there.
That's not like putting a little tip of the finger on the rim. Like she got her whole hand on the back of that rim.
She got it, man. Like that is some ups. Like, what are you gonna do if you're a forward?
That's a point guard.
Yeah, if you're a forward or a point guard, just like, all right, I'm not gonna do any passing right here. I'm just taking it to the hole, and she just goes right to the hole and just airtime on you. Like, are you gonna stand in front of that and take that, or are you just saying, all right, she can have that?
My move for that is go right ahead.
Do not let her have that second step. You can give her one step forward. You can't let her 2 steps take off.
I'm not stepping in front of that. I'm go right ahead. There you go.
Relatively needs about 3, but like you can't let her get those steps, and you gotta stay in front of her because if she gets those steps, it's airlift. Then
ridiculous.
Our athletes, though, and I love being tagged in those kind of videos and just seeing the work that these athletes are putting in the off season. Because, like I've said, it's that off season work that we see that really is what pays off during the high school season. And
the EBC just got put on full notice.
And we know what Marlington brings. We know, of course, Salem.
West Branch beat Marlington twice last year, including knocking them out of the tournament.
Yeah. And I mean, regional runner-ups too with Salem in that. And Salem beat West Branch twice as well. So, West Branch wants that win. It's going to be a fun EBC this upcoming season.
She's a sophomore.
I'm excited. She was a sophomore last year. She had a great season.
She's going to be a junior. She is a sophomore yet now.
Yeah. Entering in her junior years, so much more room to grow. I mean, that's what I said. It's
hopefully the EBC. You're saying stop growing. It's done. Stop growing.
We got a lot of talent in multiple sports that's coming up this high school season. I'm excited for it. And I mean, like you talk about with these little league seasons, I mean, a lot of names that I'm hearing throughout a lot of these communities where people are saying, watch out for these freshmen this season.
I probably had the volleyball coach be like, hey, Sophie, want to come play some volleyball? Because, having that approach at the net for your swings.
Oh, my God. The power you put behind it.
Good luck blocking that.
There's a lot of great talent throughout a multitude of sports too. I'm excited to see the incoming freshmen, and I'm excited to see the freshmen that are going to be incoming for the next coming years with your coverage of softball and the baseball coverage we have as well throughout Little League.
Yeah, the softball tournament will be wrapping up at the latest next Wednesday, which is the first date of the Little League Baseball District will be on that Wednesday, June 6th. So if there's a if necessary game, softball will be played that day. If not, we'll have a champion crowned on Tuesday. But it goes right from softball to baseball as far as the work that they're putting in down in Field of Dreams for Little League District 2 action.
And I mean, like we said, it's all the work you put in now that makes all the difference come high school seasons.
As like Ty likes to say, the diff.
The diff. That's my big thing with basketball, right? You got to look at the diff.
Got to look for that diff.
It's the differential, man. Points, big impact, and she's going to be a big diff on that West Branch team this upcoming season as a point guard.
She's a difference maker that makes a difference, and I know that's kind of it's one of the sayings that Coach Morales likes to use at Georgia Tech. It's you can be a difference maker, on the field, but you also have to make a difference. And I know that's kind of he explains it a lot better than I could. but difference makers that make differences. And Sophie Gregory is definitely one of those.
Does a great job. I'm excited for it too. And we got an upcoming volleyball season. Don't forget to we mentioned and we broke the volleyball all-star game that we're going to be planning for YSN, the first ever volleyball all-star game for YSN this upcoming fall. So we're going to be excited for that. Stay tuned to socials as we get more news on that. It's going to break, but we're excited to obviously break that and continue our coverage of all-star games too.
One more time for what's on the network tonight before we get out of here. It will be a doubleheader on Scene 1 with Richie Giuliano at 5:30 and 8. A doubleheader on Scene 2, 18 action at 5:30, and Game 4 of the 14U Championship Series between Avalanche and Astro Falcons on Game 2 at 8. Matt Merrill will be on the call there. And then another 16U doubleheader on Scene 3 with Bob Zanny on the call, 5:30 and 8 o'clock. I will be in the Field of Dreams S2 press box to do the elimination game between Poland and Canfield. Winner punches their ticket to meet Boardman in the championship on Tuesday. Loser is eliminated. It's a lot on the line. And one more time, we'll get to see the youth and the future of the sport of softball before we get into the championships next week. So that's what's on the network tonight. A total of 7 games between 5:30 and 8. So we should have you covered well into the night. We're going to take a 22-hour break, me and Ty, Casual Sports Podcast. Coming up next from 2 to 3, Power Hour from 3 to 4, and then a bunch of games tonight. So we will see you tomorrow on Running Point from 12 to 2 on a Friday edition.